Hi, it's Steve,
Hi, it's Isabel.
and today we will be looking at eggs. Our ladies, finally, after a long winter's break, we go the au natural route with them there. Like, we don't heat them, we don't give them extra light. It's just that natural cycle that they go through. It's healthier for them, so they say. I don't really think they care. But the point is that now we have this influx of eggs. Our regular routine is to eat as many as we possibly can. The kids too, finally, are having a liking to them. So it's eggs, eggs, eggs every day. So on top of our eggs, we're eating lots of oats too to make the doctor happy, to bring down our, what is it, the
Sugar.
LCL levels and LDL levels for the cholesterol. But as it turns out, our family doctor too, he said the eggs itself, it doesn't really matter so much, like the actual egg with the cholesterol. It's how you prepare them. So rather than fry them all the time, you can in moderation. But if you're scrambling them, or, like, I know this is another thing that a lot of people are against, but even just to crack them and throw them in a bowl, whip them up, throw them in a bowl and nuke them in the microwave for 2 minutes, perfectly fine. You're not adding any extra fat or any extra grease or anything that's not good for you. You're only eating egg and or salt and pepper or whatever it is that you're using to flavor them up a little bit. So, uh, according to the good people at the USDA, or the Center for Food Home Preservation, or the University of Georgia Extension, the only way that is suggested and recommended by these people is to freeze them. Not just like that. You can't just open up the freezer and hope for the best with this. We're going to crack them, beat them, and put them into their individual little homes and take them from there. All right?
We try with those muffin tin, but they don't go good because you try to remove the egg from that and it doesn't go good. And we try to put some grease on into it and it's not tasting good, so we don't like it. We try with the muffin paper too, and we try to remove the paper and it's like the candy and they don't go good, they don't work.
It's
They
These are all different ways that we've seen other different people doing it on the interweb. And like, it's just the best way that we've found,
is
the least.
those.
Yep, the
Yeah,
silicone molds. They are flexible, they're freezable, and, like, we'll go through the process a little more.
but we bought it at Canadian Tire
Yeah,
because we're Canadian, so this over there we bought it.
but
But I think Amazon still,
yeah, you can get them, pick them up
yeah,
almost anywhere.
everywhere.
um, and they come out like nice little hockey pucks. But again,
The,
the spray grease on the
yeah,
metal,
doesn't go good.
it doesn't go good. Not only does it give the eggs a funny taste, it,
Yeah,
like, makes
the,
them a little greasier than they ought to be too.
and
So we don't prescribe this method.
no,
You
and
know,
this not at all.
because this is like she said about the candies. It's, those caramels that you get at Halloween there, or that you can buy. You go to peel that cellophane wrapper off of them, and it's always, you just can't. You just wind up eating the whole thing anyways, wrapper and all. That's what this is akin to. So no. So what we do again is we just opt to take an egg, break it in the bowl or into one of the cups. We go all the way around. We'll fill up all of these things. These are all our own eggs, as you probably know. So it depends on the lady. Some of our shells are thicker, some are thinner. Uh, it depends on what they were eating or what they care to eat. And I know that, again, this is one of those things that they've said now too, is that it's better to crack your eggs on a flat surface. Why? Because you're less likely to get a little piece of eggshell or contamination in it, or what have you. You know, Again, this isn't rocket science. This may not be something that you want the kids to do. We tried, and it doesn't work out. See, that one was a very thin shelled egg. I just barely touched it and it split on me. So that means we have to increase our calcium for the chickens.
So
Anyways.
how we do that, Steve? Can you explain?
This dummy just
cracked
an egg right into the mush bucket.
So how you do that? You had some.
How do we do what?
The calcium in the egg.
Oh, oyster shells. The crushed oyster shells you can get at some food mills. It's a lot cheaper to get yourself a big 50-pound bag of the things rather than the little dainty-sized bags that you can find in other various spots. And or like all of these shells, like what can we do with the shells? We can, you can see on the interweb there, some people will put them in their oven, dry them out, and then put them underneath the
pasta and some
whatever other kind of plants that they want to protect from snails or slugs. Look at that, we didn't have too many. Let me get this mess up.
Okay.
All right, and then otherwise they can be crushed up like this. What we'll do is we'll wind up, you can give them to your chickens like that, but then they'll just think that it's okay and they turn cannibalistic with their own eggs. So what we'll do is like that, like if we're going to give them back to the chickens, we'll just take them and smash them all up, and then they can go back to the chickens. There's all sorts of good stuff in there for them, and that is that.
So you're gonna have to come wash your hands now.
We're gonna deal with this in a second. We'll go to the next step. All right. Okay, so we've got our mess all cleaned up and hands cleaned up. And so this is just to show this, that as per the good people at the USDA again, they highly suggest and recommend that you basically just break the yolk up and mix it around thoroughly, and not to whip the heck out of it there in order, like to infuse it with air, because it does something, I don't know what, how or why. And this is how actually we've been doing it without their advice for a number of years, just the same. And they always turn out really, really well, and this way, again, like we'll show you through the whole process there, or the final stages of the process, that you can cook with these, bake with them, and basically that's what these guys do. We know that we have excess now, and we know that we go through a dry spell, usually from when, about
November, December, January.
Starting in November, our ladies go dry, and it's
because it's cold.
And it's just I'll say they start producing again right around mid-March, and not industrial quantities, like we'll get half a dozen a day for a little while,
and after we go to more than one.
So this is this, and so the next step for these guys is, again, you can see it's nothing special, it's nothing fancy. They're just getting beaten up, and then they get put in the freezer until they're frozen, and we'll take it from there.
And I like to do it with the fork better than the other whisk, the little small whisk.
Right? The fork is a little more aggressive than the little baby whisk. You can buy those little miniature whisks, or even like, you can use like your hand beater thing.
But it's too much air.
It incorporates too much air into these things. So this is, we find, about the best way to do it. All right. There is more than one way to do it, but this, we find, is our preferred way. All right. We'll be back in just a little bit. All right. So the eggs, they stayed in the freezer overnight, and this morning I peeled them out, and I just finished peeling them out when I realized I didn't record that whole process. So what they wind up being are these. So we have a bag, but there we are, and they just turn into these nice little hockey puck things. I wouldn't suggest or recommend playing hockey with them because they get gooey really fast. All right. And so what we do is we just place them all into a, just like a regular dozen, like this, as per even the muffin tray. A dozen in a bag, and they stack nicely in the freezer. And as you need them, say you only want one or two for a recipe, well, then you take them out and you put one or two in whatever kind of dish you wish, let them thaw, and that's that. And that is the final product. It's not really good unless you need a dozen eggs to take them in and put them in the fridge, because you're just going to wind up with this big gooey soupy mess in the bottom of this bag, and it's really 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 difficult to measure out one egg's worth of eggs. So we put these guys all in the big freezer. We store them there for as long as we need them, but we bring up one bag at a time and put them in the freezer upstairs. That way, as we need them, or like, like if we're baking a cake or whatever, and we know we need one or two or three eggs for a recipe, then we'll take however many out, put them in a dish, and put them in the refrigerator, and they'll thaw. As far as cooking them goes, like a regular eggs just to eat on the stove, you can do that too. Again, it's better if they do thaw. Um, you They don't really make super good fried eggs, but just like, a scrambled egg or what have you, A1. All right, and again, it's important to mark them and keep track of them. All right, so that is the egg situation, and we keep doing this until we realize that we don't need any more for those November, December, January, February, and most of March. So 4 or 5 months of the year, we have to put up our eggs in order to have enough. Okay, that is that. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience, and we will see you next time.